As you know, we had the video about a week ago celebrating the changes in the latest version of iOS, updating the always on display to give us a few options to hopefully help with the battery drain that people were experiencing. We could have the notifications on or off, so that little Rolodex at the bottom there that was always displayed could be turned off. But you could also turn off the wallpaper, which is what I selected to do. Just have a black background in order to conserve battery and just have the time and date and other things in a more traditional always on display setup. And the hope being that not having that wallpaper, basically displaying a picture at 30% brightness, might save battery life. So I tried it. And while I like the enhancements to the always-on display itself, I think this is a lot cleaner and a lot less distracting. I do have it where the notifications will show. I found that without the wallpaper, just the black background, the information at the front, and the little strip of notifications at the bottom, the little less clutter there, I was able to focus better on the notifications themselves. But the thing with the battery drain didn't help. There's a couple things at play here. If you're somebody who keeps your iPhone in your pocket all day or pocketbook, you're going to be okay, because after a moment of, well, just kind of cover it. After a moment of the sensor being covered, it goes ahead and shuts off the always-on display completely, like a lot of phones do. When they detect that it's in a pocket or something like that, they say, well, there's no need for it to be on at all, and you can see how it's on there, and when it picks up some ambient light, it'll pop back on there. But so that'll conserve your battery life. So if you're out all day, if you're somebody that doesn't have their phone out on a desk or something like that, you should be okay with just the always-on display. The difference became when I sat there from work, doing work, having my phone out on my desk all day with the always-on display on the entire day. I would notice a big drain in battery over the course of the day, to the point where usually at that point in the day, I would look down and see 91, 92% left on my iPhone Pro. I got used to that, or iPhone 14 Pro. I got used to that iPhone 13 Pro-esque battery life once again. It's just the absolutely outsized battery life that no matter what you throw at this thing, it's going to handle it, and it's going to handle it well. Eat it for breakfast. To where I was like looking at it like, why is this at 72%? A little weird. Why is this so far down? I didn't do anything, didn't record any video, no 2-hour Waze directions calling out at me in the car or anything like that. Just kind of sitting here doing basic stuff, texting, couple phone calls, and I'm at 72% when typically I'd be over 90. So I did notice that. Disappointing. You got to wonder how much it plays into the battery life of Android devices when you have your always-on display on. So that's something to think about as well. But it is annoying because one of the outstanding features of the iPhone 14 Pro and the iPhone 13 Pro before it is that battery life. So anything that cuts into that is going to be disappointing to me. Anything that kind of makes it to where this isn't a 2-day device battery-wise is going to be disappointing to me. And it's just, I don't know if Apple can't get it together. I don't know if that's typical battery drain. We just don't notice it on other devices because they're draining anyway, just by existing. Whatever it happens to be, always on display has been a no-go, been kind of a fail for me when it comes to iOS and their first implementation. I like the design changes that they've made to it. I like the fact that they've taken swings with it, but it's just not working out in terms of results. I do like what they've done with the lock screen. I do like the fact that they've cleaned up a lot of things. They're trying, but for whatever it is, for whatever reason, they just can't get a handle on the battery drain for the always-on display. And that should, to me, that settles the debate on whether the iPhone 14 Pro was draining because of the always-on display. A lot of people said it wasn't. A lot of people thought that it was just the battery life of the device at first, and that may have been true. But now I can absolutely tell you that the always-on display does affect battery in a negative way on your iPhone 14 Pro. So if you're somebody, like I said, you're at a desk all day, you're just working that desk job, and you have it out, you have it on a stand, you have it whatever, if it's not plugged in, of course, you got it out, it's going to drain. If you're somebody that keeps it in your pocket all day, you don't have to worry about it. I literally had it. I was out all day. I forget what day it was, over the weekend. I was out all day, had it in my pocket, wasn't taking my phone out a lot, pulled it out, and there was no drain whatsoever. So I was pleasantly surprised by that. But then today, had it out on the desk, just was watching it burn away, even with the wallpaper off, which is designed to save battery life so you didn't have that picture always displaying on your screen. Let me know how your battery journey has gone on the iPhone 14 Pro. A lot of ups, a lot of downs. I'm happy to report that it's back to iPhone 13 Pro levels of battery life, but I don't like it when that comes at the cost of new features. I don't like the fact that I can't get that outsized battery life that I got in the last generation with the new generation with the new features. Dumbing this down and basically taking off the always on display and a couple other things that you do to save battery life, and you might as well go with an iPhone 13 Pro. Save yourself that money. If you could pick one up cheap, you're going to get the same phone, you're going to get a lot of the same features, and you're going to get it at a few $100s less. And you're still going to get the incredible battery life that comes with it. So that's disappointing to me. The idea of using the iPhone 14 Pro is to experience the always on display for the first time on iPhone. They need a complete redo. Complete redo on how it's done, how it draws power, what information is displayed, how the notifications are handled, and how different apps are able to display information on the screen. I would love little icons to tell me what apps are actually messaging me. I don't need spam text coming through on the bottom of the notification. Okay? I don't need every Twitter notification coming through on the bottom at the expense of important phone calls and text that I would be looking at otherwise. Right? I don't need to know that whatever happened on Twitter, whatever sports score happened, or the fact that it's good stargazing conditions tonight. I don't need that coming up ahead in the Rolodex over text from my wife. So I would love it if they could separate those out by app somehow and actually give this thing some utility instead of just checking a box and saying, hey, iPhone's got always on display now. Well, it drains battery and it's not that useful, even with your enhancements that you have with iOS 16.2. So do you have always on display, or are you just phoning it in? No pun intended. If you've made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Until next time, have that Steve-licious day.